everybody. Welcome back to the Underdogs Podcast. Took a little break, but we're back with episode 11. As always, we got a very big guest. Craig, you want to introduce him?
Yes, sir. This is something big time for me, especially since I watched a lot of Pac-10 growing up as a kid. First of all, we're going to start off. He was all freshman, a consensus All-American, Pac-10 Player of the Year, NCAA Champion, also NCAA All-Rookie team, number 2 pick in the NBA draft, 14-year NBA vet. Let's welcome in Mike Bibby. What up, Mike?
That. But I don't like the introduction of when you were a little kid in the Pac-10. That made me feel like I'm a grandpa right now. Dang, make me feel old, man.
Nah, man, that's historic because them is golden ages. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all was in the golden ages of the hoop, man. That's different. That's a different era.
That was like right. that. I appreciate y'all having me on, man. It's love. Yeah. Show me love. Thank you.
It's love. It's like Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't never get old, man. You feel what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
It's the Mecca, bro. Y'all was in the, you know what I'm saying? In that you was in a great era where all the Hall of Famers, you know what I'm saying, that we seeing now in the top 75, and they doing those things like that. Like you was in that break of that. You know what I'm saying?
I think y'all just seeing those guys. A lot of other guys that had mad game that don't get the recognition that they do. You know what I mean? And our era was like more. We were kind of like the mid-range era guys. You know what I mean? All the guys shoot mid-range. Sam Cassell, Rod Strickland, Terrell Brandon. You go all the way down the line. If you didn't have a mid-range jump shot, you couldn't play. You know what I mean? And that's how it was. So, I mean, the game's changed a lot to, you know, everybody shoots threes now. But, you know, I'm glad to be a part of that mid-range era.
All right, let's get right into it, man. Again, appreciate you for, you know what I'm saying, taking the time and being on with us. But let's go
having me, man.
For sure. Let's go into your upbringing and what it was like growing up. I know you was born in New Jersey from your pops being a NBA star as well and a champion as well. Let's talk about that and then the move to Arizona. Let's just jump right into it.
I was a baby when he was, you know, playing. I didn't get to really see him play. You know, like when I was born towards the end of his career, I think he was still playing when we made that move to Arizona. I'm not sure because, I mean, there was a couple of stints for him, you know, the last couple of years, maybe the San Diego Clippers or the New Orleans Jazz. One of those teams, like, you know, it was, you know, I might got cut from or whatever, but I didn't really get to see him. But I've always grew up with a basketball. So it was always in my blood to always have a basketball with me. And as far as I could hold something, like I had a ball. You know, there's always a picture of me with a ball and, you know, growing up, and I always had a nerve hoop. But that's just the way I was. You know, I mean, you see your dad, you want to be like your dad. You know, I wanted to be like my dad. I wanted to play basketball. And it was just in my blood, and it just came so naturally that I was just played. You know what I mean? Whether I just wanted to win, I wanted to play basketball, whether it was win or lose, every day, once a week, I wanted to play. And making the move to Arizona, you know, my whole family came out here, cousins. My mom is one of 9 kids. So all of us, they all moved out here, and we were all out here. So I have like 80 cousins out here now. And, you know, I mean, the family has grew since then. But Arizona, beautiful place. I grew up here, high school. Decided to go to U of A. You know, it was an hour down the street. Now I didn't want to go too far. I'm kind of a mama's boy. So, you know, when I make sure I was close enough, but still far away, you know? Yeah. So, you know, I made that jump just to, you know, I took a recruiting visits at UCLA. Duke was a far third, but UCLA was still far away. You know, it's a 6-hour drive, you know, about an hour, you know, flight. It was a little too long for me, but I'm glad I made a decision to go to U of A and play under the great Coach Olson.
But so it wasn't never any like mental pressure of you being like the son of the NBA champion, was it?
No, I mean, I just played. You know, I mean, I took it serious, but I mean, I just had so much love for the game that I played the game, and no matter what afterwards, I needed to make sure I had a cheeseburger and French fries. I mean, that's how just a part of my life that I just played basketball, just so natural. I played basketball. I just thought it was an everyday thing for me. I go to my game. I want McDonald's or Burger King after. I got to make sure I have that. That's all I was really worried about. There was never really no pressure to try to make it. I just played. You know what I mean? There was no pressure.
It was just a natural love for the game. You know what I'm saying?
It
like it's just pure. It's just pure.
And that's kind of hard to find too right now. You know what I'm saying? It's starting to get back into that where everybody is just playing for the love of it, and you starting to see the passion in the game just a little bit more.
I mean, I would play at the parks. You know how hot it is out here in Arizona. I'd find parks to play at. You know, I'd play on an 8-foot hoop. No matter what I was doing, I was playing basketball. But you know, I was getting a little bit of trouble here and there. You know how guys do. But I was still always playing basketball. We always found a park to play. I always played with older guys, and just played.
What was your high school experience like, being that you won a state championship? Like, how was that? Like, that's pretty swagged out.
It was good.
I was already on early.
It was good. We my senior year, we got to go on a lot of, like, out of Phoenix, you're only allowed 2 like tournaments to play in. So we played in some the Beach Ball Classic. Kobe Bryant was there, Jermaine O'Neal, Lester Earl, Jason Collier. I mean, you go down the line, we went to top tournaments because they had me as the top point guard. So our team was pretty good. You know, we played a different style of basketball. I don't know if you guys know who Paul Westhead is, but they averaged about like 140 points in college, and that's kind of the way our style was. We averaged 98 points a game in high school in 32 minutes. So we were running up and down, and the numbers that we had were, it might have been inflated, but we had those numbers, and it was just good. I think our style of play kind of knocked some teams that might have been able to beat us, but just we were in such great shape. We run teams out the gym, and teams that are used to slowing it down are playing at our pace. So I mean, I think that's how we out tricked some of the teams we played.
Yeah, can you just elaborate on like being so much better conditioning, like especially like in those fourth quarters, like for the viewers, because like I know the fans sometimes don't understand like when they mean like run them out, because you see Steph Curry and you see those situations, but you don't know necessarily hear the breakdown of it. I want you to give the breakdown because I know you got so much knowledge. We
practice like we played. A lot of high schools, they come in, run their offense, scrimmage for 5 minutes, do their offense, stuff like that. But we were picking up full court on both ends of the court. So our practice was like that. We ran stadiums. I know no one knows about running stadiums. We used to run stadiums out here in Arizona in the heat, run miles to get our team ready. So, I mean, our coach made sure that we were in shape for the way we were going to play. And the teams we were going against weren't in that kind of shape we were in. So they were in trouble out the gate.
So you were saying Paul Westhead was your high school coach?
No, he coached at Loyola Marymount. So he had Bo Kimball, Hank Gathers, those guys, and they averaged in college. They were averaging like 130 points a game.
Okay,
and that's when they came into the and started making the tournament and stuff. They're averaging 130 points a game. If you go and watch some of the highlights, you'll see the type of style that they play. They pick up full court, take any shot you like, but you got to make sure you pick up full court. I mean, you come on the break. That's when they'll start pulling up on threes on the break and just making passes and get out and running. So
he was the assistant coach of the Lakers when they were starting the Showtime shit, right? Yeah. I was just when you first said his name, I just started watching that Winning Time that's on HBO Max, and that was that offense, that was that running gun, that Showtime offense.
Yeah, you're right.
Straight up.
So you're on high school, winning high school championships. At what point did you know you were ready to go to that next level, and what was that kind of college recruitment process like for you?
I knew I was ready in 8th grade, maybe even a little bit younger, because I mean I was supposed to be 6'5". I stopped growing. Like my arms were touching my knees. My arms are so long, and I was biggest guy on the team, and I was handling the ball and guarding the center. And once I got to the 9th grade, that's when people started coming around. I started playing for older teams and started getting the recognition like in 9th grade. And that's when it started for me. I never looked at it like, oh, I'm going to be in college. I never looked at it. Like I said, I love the game. And I figured my game would take me places where, not many people go. So, that's why I played. That's why I played for the love of it. I loved it.
So freshman year, you're going into Arizona and, you guys have a great team. You make it into the March Madness tournament and you start dominating, getting to the championship game. What was that experience like for you?
Well, when I first got to college, in high school, I was a scorer. Right now, I'll probably be known more as a shooter. But, coming out of high school, I would dunk on you. I could shoot jumpers. I could finish in the paint. I was a scorer. And, once I got to Arizona, I started working on my shot with Josh Pass. I remember it was just me and him in the gym. We each making 300 makes a day. The first day I'm at school. A few lights on in the gym. You could get in the gym when you could, and started that way. And that got my work ethic to where, hey, nothing's going to stop me from getting to where I want to. And playing in that tournament, I expected it to go that way because I put the work in. If I didn't put the work in and I was making shots or missing shots, whatever, then I expect that. But I put the work in. And what kind of got me jump started is that, after the first 2 games, I'm on an established team anyway. We got Miles Simon, Jason Terry, Michael Dickerson. You go all the way down the line, and I'm coming in as a freshman. And after our first 2 tournament games, we almost lost. They were close games. And I remember Coach Olsen calling a meeting and telling me, like, hey, Mike, I need you to be more aggressive. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And coming from your coach like that puts you over the top. And, I wasn't afraid to fail. Being 18 years old, I didn't want to step on any toes and stuff like that. And I just, when Coach told me that, I got into scoring mode and I was looking to score more. And I think that's what helped us. Not saying that's the only reason why we were propelled to the top, but I think that helped take some of the, not pressure, but some of the stuff off, Miles and Dickerson and JT, where they could get 18 to 20 points from me and not have to worry about getting 35 or 40.
So basically, Coach basically gave you that green light and just kind of let you go.
Yeah, that's what you need to, especially young kids like that. Because I've had a lot of kids, even my son has been in situations to where being in college and saying, you can't take that, don't take that shot. Mm-hmm. And for anybody to tell somebody on the team, don't take that shot, and you take a shot and miss, it's gonna, you can't play basketball like that. It will hurt you. Yeah. And so for him to do that, just open the whole thing up for me. And that's all you need. And you need confidence. And at any level, you need confidence. Confidence will get you a long way.
Yeah, we was kind of talking before this, and I was kind of mentioning like you were like taking the lead of, the guards playing this hybrid style to where now in the lead is like, that's the go-to. Now it's through the point guard. Like the point guard was the go-to player. And you was like leading that because still at that time it was everything through the post players. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
In the first, my first couple years in Vancouver, that's how we played. I wasn't used to that. After my first 2 years, I thought I was going to be out the league soon, just from throwing the ball in the post and go stand over there. And if the ball comes out to you, then do something. But, we had Country Reeves, we had Sharif Abdul-Rahim, both, pretty big time scorers. And, expansion team, it was tough. Those are your veterans. Sharif Abdul-Rahim is 1 year older than me. Country Reeves is 23, and those are our go-to guys. So, it was tough, but that's how we played for the first 2 years I was in with the Grizzlies. Throw the ball in the post. The defensive rules were different back then, but throw it in the post. You work from out to in. In to out, and that's what we played. But then, my third year, it was different. It was more guard play. Lionel Hans came in, and kind of gave the keys to me and Michael Dickerson and Sharif Abdul-Rahim. And now, Sharif got more, not with his back to the basket as much, but he still has back to the basket. And we were able to do much more then. I think that's what raised my stock back up, even playing like that.
Okay, so going back to your freshman year and in college, did you ever think about entering the draft after that first year, winning the championship, being the player of the year, all of that stuff?
Not at all. It didn't run through my mind one time. Financially, I needed it, but physically and mentally, I wasn't ready. I knew I wasn't. And I went home that summer and worked even harder than I did my freshman year. Coming back, I think I had 16, 17 points, got player of the year in the Pac-10. And, I didn't, after that year, I knew I was ready. When the season was done, I matured more and knew it was time to go. I went in, as soon as the season was over, I went to Coach Olsen and said, Coach, it's time for me to go. And, I hate to leave, but I have to, take care of my family. And he understood, and he knew that I was ready, and there was never any, well, maybe you should stay one more year. He knew I was ready. And after that, it was over.
So once you make that decision to go to the draft, what was your draft process like for you? What were the workouts? We've heard some horror stories from previous guests on some workout stories. What was yours like?
So I had David Falk. So back then, David Falk had everyone. So David Falk had Michael Jordan, Alonzo Mourning, the Mutombo. You go all the way down the line. Me and Elton Brand were his last two guys. Mm-hmm. So he was we were trying to go number one. And, I had one workout with the Clippers. I worked out by myself. So I don't really have any stories of going around and I played against this guy and this and that. But I had about an hour workout with the Clippers. I thought, it was a great workout. They shooting wise, everything. And when I left, they gave me like a big duffel bag. It was like so big. I'm like, damn, they're going to pick me. You don't give me this. You don't give anybody that much stuff if you're not going to pick them. And, I didn't work out for anybody else. And, my agent was like, well, we'll try to figure out where to place you, this and that. So draft day comes, and it's like an hour or two before the draft. And he was like, we still don't know what they're going to do. They haven't said anything. The draft was in Vancouver at that time. It was like one of the very few times I was in Vancouver. And, probably 30 minutes before the draft starts, he comes and said they're going to take Oluwa Candy. So I was like, damn, 19 years old. I don't want to play out the country, So, so there was nothing against the team. There was nothing against the city. I just wasn't ready family-wise and maturity-wise to move out the country and live out of the country. And so I went up to Stu Jackson and Brian Hill. I had a meeting. My mom was there. My agent was there. And I had told him, I nothing against you guys, nothing against the team, but I don't want to play here. And, and they said, well, we're going to pick you anyway. So, I was, like I said, I'm grateful to get picked, but it was tough. It was like the first couple of years losing all that time and seeing rain. I'm from Arizona. I see rain probably 3 weeks out, 365 days. So it was tough. Just like I said, being immature, I wasn't ready for that move yet. But I think it got me prepared, to be in the right spot. I think everything happens for a reason. And when I got there, my third year, the team was about to move. My stock had raised back up for the year I had. And Michael Heisley, rest in peace, he was the owner. And he came to me and he was like, Mike, we're going to move the team. And, we're going to start over. And is there any destinations you want to go? He's like, he told me, give me his 5 destinations. So I gave him 5 teams that I would like to play for. And he's like, well, give me your number 1 team you want to play for. And I told him Sacramento. And probably the day of the draft or day before the draft, I got calls from Vancouver. When you get traded, you go to your phone and you got calls from both places. I'm like, damn. So I was in the gym working out. Actually, I was in the gym. It was like midnight. Somebody called like, hey, your brother's getting traded to Sacramento. I told my brother. So I was like, ain't no way. I'll just talk to my agent. So we came back, whatever, and it was done. And the reason why I picked Sacramento is because when you play in Vancouver and you win 20 games out of 82, not many people are coming to see you. And so when I remember going there, playing in Sacramento, the last game, we have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. It's the last game of the season. We're ready to go home. They're ready to go to playoffs. They're playing the Grizzlies, and the whole stands is packed. That was one of the reasons. Like, I want to play in front of fans like this that appreciate, the game and appreciate what you could do. And I mean, and it ended up happening.
And that's crazy because like a lot of people don't get to have the opportunity to pick their destination. So for you to be able to decide that's key. And like, you kind of manifested everything after that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And like I said, Heisley was a great owner. And like I said, he catered, to some of the guys that, he thought he took care of us. And like I said, I might have got picked to the Grizzlies in order to get to Sacramento. Like I said, everything happens for a reason. And, as much as I didn't want to, play in Canada, or not Canada, play for the Grizzlies, it's crazy.
Crazy. So let's talk about that season. You go into a winning team with Sacramento, and I mean, you playing with Chris Webber, Vlade, Page. My Page is going off. I always like that. 61-21. Y'all was killing. I mean, nobody could really guard y'all in the league. And to be honest, in my opinion, like, y'all are like the NBA champs, like, low key. I don't really see like y'all had that squad, man. And I'm an LA guy, so it's just like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to root against the home team, but I'm like, damn, y'all whooping their ass.
Yeah, we were the best team in the league that year for sure. I know that. I think they know that. I think everybody knows that. And I mean, and playing there was like a dream come true. Playing with those guys, especially getting traded for Jason Williams, a fan favorite, Showtime guy, and a team favorite. The way they took me in made it the progress so much easier. I came in, and there was no assholes on the team. Everybody was, funny, had a good demeanor. Everybody knew Weber was the, alpha male, alpha dog on the team, and everybody just followed in place. That's what made everybody so good. That I never seen. That's like probably one of the first teams or only teams that I seen somebody that if they didn't get what they were scoring, averaging, they were the same person on the flight. You get a lot of teams like if a person don't score points, he's not talking on the flight home. Yeah. And that never happened with Sacramento, and that was one of the best things. That's what made me love basketball again and be in a situation to where this is the way basketball is supposed to be played.
I mean, that was kind of one of the things that you mentioned earlier with like just your happiness with just being able to just play the game. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Being with Vancouver, it was just like that rough transition to what the league was going to be like. And then now being in Sacramento, that was giving you like that childlike environment.
It gave me life again.
That feel. Again. And then get you back to that winning. Like you always been a winner. So being able to have those Hall of Fame pieces, that's like that's why
it was easy.
Stretches of your career. Yeah.
It was easy just playing with those guys. And back then you didn't have many plays. A lot of it was just playing off reads. We played off reads. We had probably one of the two best big man passes that ever played the game, Webb and Vlade. And just to go out there, and I remember at the first practice, I cut through and ball hit me in the back of the head. And Coach Crill's like, Mike, better pay attention. You got through, you're going to be open. You know what I mean? So I always cut through to get out the way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I was never used to cutting to look for a pass. And it just made the game so much easier. Playing with all those guys from, the first guy to the 15th.
It was selfless basketball, and then the camaraderie of you guys being together as a unit made it more special, and that's why I was really out here just beating the crap out of people because it's just like the energy.
Everybody got together so well. Like on the plane, everybody would be gambling. Even if you weren't gambling, everybody would sit at the table. The four table, where the front, back, faces from whatever. even if you weren't gambling, everybody was at the table. You know what I mean? That's how much everybody liked each other and cared about each other on that team.
So this is a special question because it's just called Rhino's Vision. And in Rhino's Vision, I like for our guests to walk us through one of their favorite plays. But since you were here, I already got a play picked out. So walk us through the Game 5 winner that y'all went up 3-2 on the Lake Show.
Okay, I mean, the play was for Webb, you know, and was for Webb to make a decision. You know, hit Webb, come off him, see what play Webb makes. And I told Webb, I just said, Webb, if you hand it to me, I'm gonna knock it down. I promise you, I'll knock it down. And you know, he set a good screen. You know, Fisher flopped, and you know, I shot that shot over 1,000,000 times. I expected to make it. You know what I mean? And just for Webb to have the confidence in me to hand me the ball, that meant everything. You know, as soon as I shot, I used to shoot 700 shots, 700 makes a day. I knew that was going in.
Yeah. So off of that, right? So you just knew you was going to shoot it. I know you was kind of wide open too for like a curl action too.
Wide open.
It was wide open.
I told him if he gave it to me, I was shooting it. There's nothing else I could have did with it. So I mean, I think I took one dribble and pulled up, and you know, I worked, and that was part of my workouts too. You know, catch and shoot, 1 dribble pull-ups, 2 dribble pull-ups, and you know, it was a 1 dribble pull-up. You know, right from college 3, and I shoot that shot 1,000,000 times, and you know, I wanted the ball at that moment. It was fun. It was always fun playing the Lakers, even to play against those guys. You know, Kobe and Shaq, and you know, their rest of supporting cast. They you know, play against 2 of the top 5 guys that I think ever played the game is honoring for me. You know, Shaq, I think, is the most dominating big man I've ever seen. Most dominating player that I've seen in my day, just as far as being strong, quick, explosive. But Shaq had it all. You know, play against Kobe, you know, the second to Michael Jordan in his prime, you know, it's like I said, it's honoring.
And I mean, I created a real rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was real tension, real blood. Like it was.
And next year, Doug punched Fox, and I mean, so it was serious. It was really serious.
Cowbells, the fans with the cowbells, bro. That bad.
Fights almost going on in the back. You know, everything happened, man. So I mean, it was really real than what, you know, from what everybody was seeing. You know, we didn't like them; they didn't like us.
And the fact that you're able to bring your game to another level during that too, you're averaging 23, 4, 4, and 2 that series. Like you took that pressure and like played into it. Like you made yourself better in that moment.
I love playing in LA. I don't know why. It was just, I mean, I don't know, the fans. If you ever watch some of the highlights of me playing them, I'm always looking in the crowd because they used to talk mad shit to me. I hear everything, you know. And I mean, once 1 goes in and 2 goes in, I'm ready to talk back. You know, and I mean, that's what made it fun for me playing out there. Just, you know, seeing all the movie stars and doing all that. I mean, it was fun.
You was really putting on the show out there too. I was watching some of the highlights. You coming down with the little swag there.
That's because the fans had me doing that. The fans had me doing that, man. Yeah. I was a really quiet player out there unless, you know, I hit, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots, and then I start acting a fool. But other than that, I just mind my business, you know, until you want to wake me up, I guess.
So that series was extremely tight. The last 4 games of the series all came down to the final seconds. And then comes game 6, which we did some digging into last night.
I mean, we were up by 20 every game. You know what I mean? So I know we were the better team. And, you know, it's unfortunate in the game 7 that we didn't shoot good from the free throw line and from the 3-point line. I think we're like 2 for 20 or something from the 3-point line and 8 for 17 or 20 from the free throw line. So, I mean, we kind of shit the bed ourselves. You know, we get to go home and play one in front of the greatest fans in the world and, you know, kind of blew it. I don't think it should have came down to game 7, but we blew it at game 7.
That's what we were about to mention in game 6. We did some research last night where we found about some anonymous NBA refs admitting to wanting to extend the series thanks to the NBA and wanting to increase television views, ticket sales, all that. And, you can see in the stats where in the fourth quarter alone of that game, the Lakers attempted 18 more free throws than your team.
Mm-hmm. And that they shot more free throws in the fourth quarter than we did in all game.
It's insane.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough to swallow. Like, I can't even watch the game. I can't even watch the games now. Like, those games I can't watch. Yeah. And it's just, it's heartbreaking that we didn't win a championship. Like I said, I think we were the best team in the league that year. I think we could have beat New Jersey too, just like, LA beat New Jersey.
When you're in the moment of that game, like, is it hard to kind of like control yourself and like, just play your game and not let all the stuff with the refs get into your head?
It's tough, but you could see me, like, if you watch some of the highlights, you could see me go down to one knee and, take the breath out of me and all that stuff that they're doing. But I mean, it was frustrating. Like I said, it's frustrating. It was really frustrating. I know we are better. I know we are better than them. That's why.
So would you say this was your favorite playoff series?
Yeah, I can say that. It was probably the best one that I had. As I got older, it was different being in Atlanta, playing against the Celtics, taking the world champion Celtics to 7 was big for me too. So, just making the playoffs was big. I first 2-3 years I didn't make it. That was my first playoff run going to Sacramento. Going up against John Stockton, then Nash. Playing against Hall of Fame point guards and holding my own. You know what I mean? It just felt good to show people that I could play at the level that, at the highest level like that.
Can you explain that process? Just like go just a little bit deeper. I know you were saying this the year where you take the Lakers to Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals, but you said you played Jason Kidd first that series. And Stockton, then Nash. Then Nash.
Yeah. So
Dallas, right?
Yeah, playing against Stockton, it was rough out there. It's like we're playing at the park. They let him get away with a lot of grabbing, holding, and I think that prepared me for down the line. Playing again, I think he might have been no matter what season he was in, he was tough all the way until he retired. Tough. Stick his nose in there, get elbowed, get back up, play. He missed. I don't even know. He played like 17 years straight without missing a game, 18 years straight without missing a game or something. So that just shows how tough he was. But, I think playing against him in my first round ever and being so nervous standing on the court about to shit my pants, my first playoff series, it was eye-opening, and it got me prepared for the rest of the playoffs.
Okay. And then going into that, that second round with Nash.
There was going to be a lot of scoring. There was a lot of times, like, they didn't have me to play defense. I was never a defensive player. We had Doug, Chrissy, and Bobby for that. So, they put me on the guy that was less active. The same thing with Nash. Nash never really guarded me either, but it was a different playing against Utah is kind of like a slow it up game. We're going to play and see who could beat each other half court. And going to Dallas and playing Dallas, it was up and down. A lot of three-pointers. We're going to see who got to run each other. And like I said, playing in those two type of series, my first series from one extreme to the next extreme, got me prepared for the Lakers.
So being notorious for being robbed of an all-star nod, especially most notably in 2004 and 2005 when Ginobili won it, with much respect to Ginobili. And the next year, when I think it was Tony Parker that was voted in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on not getting the all-star nod when you should have? And you had 3 of your other SAC teammates be all-stars.
It would have been great to be an all-star, but I don't think that defines my career of playing. That year, I think they only took, 1 point. At that year, those years, it was by position. So we're taking this many guys, this position, this many guys, this position. So I wanted to make it, but like I said, that's not going to define my career. And back then, everybody played. So there was no there was no sitting out and then other people get to fill in.
Yeah.
People played. Everybody was playing that. You know, I mean, there was no time off like that. So there was no chance for me to get in if somebody get hurt. I don't even know if I would have went anyway if somebody got hurt and they tried to pass it to me. I don't think I even would have went.
That's perspective right there. I wasn't thinking that. I wasn't thinking that at all.
I mean, I knew those are probably I had the two good, really, 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 really good years, you know, number wise. And I thought those would be the years. And then the first one didn't happen. I was like, okay, maybe next year. Next year didn't happen. I was like, I mean, there's not much else I could do. So, you know what I mean? You can only worry about the stuff you can control. So I stopped worrying about it.
All right, being traded from Sacramento to Atlanta.
You know, the funny thing is I was supposed to get traded to the Lakers after Sacramento. But I don't think the Maloofs wanted to put me in the same division as they were. And then that year I was supposed to get traded to Cleveland to play with LeBron, and then the first year, and that fell through. So the next year coming up, it was supposed to be Cleveland again. And All-Star break, you know, I told my agent, and he was like, you know, just be patient after All-Star break. Stuff will happen after All-Star break. And so I took a nap, and my son woke me up like, Dad, you got traded to Atlanta. I was like, no, I didn't. I called my agent. I was like, did I get traded to Atlanta? He's like, no, just wait. You got to wait. I said, Dave, that shit's on ESPN. I got traded to Atlanta. So he's like, hold on, let me call you back. He's like, damn, you did. That's one of the first, that's like two of the only trades you never heard about were mine. You know what I mean? And like I said, going to Atlanta, like I didn't expect to be there in Atlanta long. You know, being an older guy with those younger guys, I kind of brought the camaraderie that we had in Sacramento to Atlanta. You know what I mean? Because Atlanta, I mean, when I got there, we ended up making the playoffs being 38-44. You know, from my first year in Atlanta being 38-44 to 52-30, I think I helped change around the kind of atmosphere that they had going around there as far as when we get to here, everybody's going to the mall. We're going to go eat at California Pizza Kitchen. Everybody's going. You know what I mean? We'll sit there, we'll eat, walk around the mall for a little bit, go back to our hotel rooms. You know, everybody's gambling on the plane and doing like stuff like that. So kind of, you know, I was kind of the Vlade Divac of the Atlanta Hawks. And like I said, Vlade Divac is probably the best all-around teammate I've ever had as far as saying like, yes, like he'll score 31 games. He'll be the same person. He scored 2 points. He'll be the same person. He'll make jokes. He's not down on himself. And I catch little things like that. And that kind of helped me as far as when I wasn't as active or anything like that, I could help in other ways.
Those last three.
Yeah.
How was that like affecting like your mental health? You know what I'm saying? Just where you was you good? Was you cool? Cause you already kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, how was that transition?
It was good. You know, I mean, Wizards were a young team. At that time, I didn't think I could help them. That's why I thought it was time I needed to go somewhere else to maybe try to help a team win a championship because I don't have many years left. That's why I left Washington to go to Miami. But going into Miami, they kind of wanted me to be kind of help John Wall come along, I think. And I like I said, I thought I had a little bit left in the tank. I wasn't ready for that. So that's why I was like, I want to play. I don't, you know, that was almost my last. I wasn't even going to play no more. Mike Woodson came in and, you know, asked me to go to New York. I would have been done playing after that year. But they wanted me to help pull him along and be like a older guy for him to teaching the ropes and do all this stuff for him. But I wasn't ready for that.
We do got to mention though, in your career, you had 5 seasons where you played and started in all 82 games, and 6 if you want to count your rookie year with the 50-game lockout. You did play in all those as well. That's something that's like never seen anymore, especially with like load management becoming more of a normal thing. Like, how hard is that to pull that off?
Yeah, I wanted to play. You know, like I said, I wanted to play. There's been times you could look at maybe 2 or 3 of those seasons I missed 2 games, and that's because we already had our playoff spot or done. You know what I mean? So back then, you played until your seeding was done. You know, and once you're the number 1 seed, number 2 seed, and you can't go up and down anymore, you take rest then. That's what we did back in the day. And so I don't know how many games I had with 80 games, whatever, but I just wanted to play. If I'm out there, I'm going to play. There's no point for me to go out there and sit on the bench and watch the game. You know what I mean? I can watch the game at home. So I always wanted to play. And like I said, I think the first games I missed were in Sacramento. I don't know what year it was, but I can't remember why I missed them. I think it was from sitting out the last 2 games, I think.
Just being able to like see and hear your name like throughout the culture. Like even on the hip hop scene, like your jersey was like the top 10 jersey sales of all time. Like that influence that you had, even going back all the way to Arizona. I remember, you know what I'm saying, you being one of the first cats to have the phone posits on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just your influence, you know what I'm saying, to the sneaker game, which is just at an all-time crazy where it is today, to like you being one of those players to like really start that trend.
And I think having the phone posits and bringing them out in college kind of got me to that level, and then being with Jordan kind of excelled me to where now everybody wants these PEs. You know, the Jordan 5s have never been cut to a low top. Now you're getting a low top 5, low top 9, low top 13. So I mean, I think like everybody looks at me like a sneaker guy and stuff like that, and I love it. And I was told even at U of A, I remember the Nike guy coming to us and saying, "Hey, I got this shoe that isn't out yet." That's how he started. And I said, I don't even care what it is. I'm wearing it. If it ain't out yet, I'm wearing it. Because back then, everything you wore matched your uniform. So if your uniform was red and white, you wore a red and white shoe. You know what I mean? There's no crazy colors going on back then. So he was like, the shoe's not your color. I said, I'm wearing the shoe. You know what I mean? So he gave a pair to everybody on the team, and it was up to you to wear them or not. And, I think putting them on kind of, pissed off Penny, but I had to wear them. I had to.
Yeah, that was dope.
So speaking more on that, you were the first generation of Jordan athletes. How did that come into play for you?
I had the same agent. Like I said, I had the same agent as Michael Jordan. And at first, I mean, the shoe contracts weren't crazy back then. Puma came first, and Puma was going to pay the most. And I remember Puma sent a box to me, and I opened the box. It just was a plain shoe, had Puma symbol on the side. It was like suede, and it looked like it was a size 20. And I'm like, man, I can't wear that. And so my agent was like, well, would you wear Jordans? I said, hell yeah, I wear Jordans. And ever since then, he put me in it. And, they still take care of me to this day. So, I'm glad to be a part of the brand Jordan. One of the first, it was 5 guys at first. They brought me on to be the 6th. And to be a part of that is just, at first it's always great, just to have shoes that you always go to the store to buy and have them 2 months early, it's crazy.
Yeah, me and Mike were talking about this last night when we were playing at that shoe store in Vegas in one of the casinos. I forget what it's called. They had your player editions in the cases for like $10,000. It's like they have some that they sell for a lot. They resell for a lot. I mean, it's crazy. The shoe game is crazy how much they sell. They're buying from 120 and selling for 20,000. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we'll get into.
It's hard to get a hold of something.
True. I have a notification on eBay saved. So anytime someone posts one, I'll get a notification, but none of my price range yet. We'll get into the segments to close out the episode. This first one we have is called Give a Dog a Bone. It's just rapid fire questions so our audience can get to know you a little bit better. Starting with, we're the Underdogs Podcast. We want to know what your favorite dog breed is.
I don't like dogs.
Very well.
I got 4 kids. I don't need any more things. I got 4 kids that are animals. I don't need any dogs.
Okay. Favorite musical artist?
Pac.
Favorite shoe?
Jordan 11.
Favorite teammate you had in the NBA? I think you answered this earlier, though.
Bobby Jackson was probably my favorite teammate, from throughout the whole thing. I still talk to a lot of my teammates today, but he was the one that I was probably closest with throughout my career.
Hey, I know this is supposed to be rapid fire, but like I wanted to, that's one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, because Bobby Jackson was more so type of like my style type of player. Mm-hmm. So I always used to watch film on Bobby Jackson. Like I always used to watch him because he was like that backup point guard, came in with the energy, came in with the defense. And I just wanted to know, like, how was that? And you saying that was your favorite teammate, I had to get that insight right there.
It was good. We got along from the first day I was there. He was the only person in the locker room when I first got there. So I kind of hit it off pretty good when I got there. But Bobby could have started on any other team in the NBA probably. And to go up against him every day made me better. And, he didn't back down from anything. He was the leader of the second group that we had. And, I mean, his job was coming to play defense, but he was always like a little microwave Vinnie Johnson. He was coming to score. He could give you 20 in 10 minutes. That's when he got it, it's going up probably. What I mean? But that's just the way he played, and that's what made him so good.
No, I needed to hear that because that was one of the guys that was one of the guys who, before I got drafted, I was working out with Gus Armstead in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. And Bobby used to come in there. Matt used to come in there. All the Sacramento Kings, Kevin Martin used to come in there.
Yeah.
I used to be sitting there watching Bobby, and then I got a chance to play against him, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew that was coming from, you know what I'm saying, your time. So I had to ask you that.
When you say that, you guys are very similar. He was high energy, talk shit. You guys are almost the same person. I used to call him Wesley Snipes. So he's a great friend of mine still. So our families are great with each other. So we're still great.
That's what's up.
That's good.
All right. Who would you say your role model is?
My role model growing up was my mother.
Okay. What was your favorite city to play in? Not necessarily the team, just the city. City
that I played in, or just in general?
In general.
I like playing Phoenix because it's home. Okay. I like playing in LA. Probably Phoenix would probably say the best because I got to stay at home.
Nice. Aside from basketball, what would you say your favorite hobby is?
Playing video games.
Anything specific?
Okay.
I play everything. I like playing sports games. I play, Dead by Daylight. I play everything.
Okay.
I prefer sports though, but like the Call of Duty, I can't play. That's too much. That gets me sick playing Call of Duty. I can't play that. I'm too old for that. Too many buttons. I'm used to play. I'm cool with 2 buttons, so I don't need 18 buttons to press. I only got 10 fingers.
So if you're playing 2K, do you play as yourself? Do you play as like the older Kings team?
I draft myself. I mean, we have a draft, so we have a draft.
Yeah.
I obviously move my numbers up because I think it's bullshit. I know. I look at some of my I look at my numbers and look at some of the guys they have now. Like, damn, I know I was better than that. You know what I mean? But I mean that's what they do. So I mean, I move my numbers up a little bit. I let my son move my numbers up to where he don't think I'm trying to cheat for myself and just let him move it up. So.
Okay.
Do you play Grand Theft Auto?
I have, yes. I like that game too.
Okay.
I play that too. See that one, like when you got to go, I could play games like that, but when you play Call of Duty, you gotta press the back one and then this one, and I can't do all that.
Yeah, it does get pretty complicated, especially in like the war zone and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
I tried to play that game one time and like for 5 seconds, I put the controller down. So I can't play that.
All right. Who would you say the hardest player to guard was?
The hardest player to guard was Stephon Marbury.
Okay. Who was the best defender versus you?
Best defender against me was probably Baron Davis.
Okay.
We were 2 West Coast guys, and I think every time he played me, he wanted to come out and prove that, I'm from LA. He was a year younger than me, but I think he wanted to come ahead and had something to prove when he played me.
Gotcha. That chip on the shoulder. What was your least favorite city or stadium to play in?
Anywhere cold. I didn't like it cold.
Okay. It's probably not Boston. Wasn't the favorite.
No. I mean, like, you go to Boston and you always see what they did, what Russell did, Bird did, and all those guys did. You go there, and it's fun to be like, I'm in the Boston Celtics arena. But other than that, it's nothing special,
Okay. What would you say your favorite game you played in was?
Probably the Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals against LA.
Okay. So Craig and Mike are trying to culture me a little bit more. They give me movie recommendations every week so I can get with it a little bit more because I don't get half the references they say. So I got to ask, what is your favorite movie?
I got a lot of them, but my favorite movie is Me, Myself, and Irene.
Oh, it's a classic.
It's funny to me. It's funny. Just all this you see is funny.
Okay.
I mean, I like the classic stuff too. I mean, love Boys in the Hood. I like movies. I like movies. You go all the way down the line, but favorite movie I could sit and watch right now is probably Me, Myself, and Irene.
Okay. Yeah, Craig's a big movie guy too. He quotes movies like every sentence he says.
Yeah, I do love movies, but that was a classic. Jim
Carrey,
man.
Jim Carrey, man.
That was just from the start. He was acting
right.
Cool.
What is the grocery store scene and everything? Like he was at the one.
Somebody's kid, the midget.
My God.
He said, those aren't your kids. The water's beating off their heads. He looked up to him and said, those are my kids. I mean, just to see a white guy with 3 black kids, I mean, it was classic. Like you said, it was a classic movie.
What is something you wish fans knew or understood better?
That's not all glamour. I mean, you see the cars and the jewelry and stuff like that. It's not as easy as it looks. You know what I mean? And I mean, like I said, Kyrie did, you hear what Kyrie did, flipping the fans and stuff like that, but we're not animals. You know what I mean? And, you can't just go out there and get talked to, and you're still a grown man when it comes down to it. And, as a man, you protect yourself, and if you have to protect your family, you protect your family. But just to have more respect at the game, it's entertainment. You guys paid to come watch the guys play, be with your family, enjoy it, and just have fun.
Okay. Who is your favorite current player?
My favorite current player is probably Chris Paul.
Okay. Favorite all-time player?
Favorite all-time player is Michael Jordan.
Easy.
Yes.
And I think the question we all need to know, the last one, how many pairs of shoes do you have?
I haven't counted them, but I have a lot.
Give us a guesstimation, man. 5K.
Give us a number.
5,000.
Maybe
8,000.
I gave so many away. Like I used to coach a AAU team, and I'd have kids over here and give them 30 pair of shoes.
Wow.
25 pair of shoes. So I mean, it still hasn't made a dent. I mean, just for years I give away shoes. And like I said, I was blessed to be on Jordan to even still be getting taken care of to this day. And, I get a box every month of all the new shoes, clothes and stuff. So it's great. I mean, I still have so many shoes sitting at the door from the last 2 boxes that I got that I only have no room to put them anywhere.
Yeah, I remember watching the video that Nate Robinson did at your place with the little shoe closet, the shoe safe room you had. That's it.
Yeah.
He was trying to get some film. I said, you can't get. No one has film with this. You can't get. But I took him in there. He saw it. He was trying to film. I said, Nate, you can't. Don't film here. Nobody has film in here.
Yeah.
So
it's the inner sanctity.
Yeah.
All right, Mike.
All right. So what's next? What's next on the segment list? I got a Mike's Mental Minute. And I want you to kind of, talk about the transition after basketball and how did you take that mental discipline you developed on the court, transferring it to transferring that same focus that made you successful within the game of basketball, like off the court until some of your endeavors off the court?
I was ready to be done. And, I just wanted to relax and stuff. And what got me into coaching was my son was a freshman in high school the year I ended. So I got to watch his whole freshman year. But I coached him since he was 9 years old. So I coached throughout my playing times. But I came and I saw one of their practices. And I was like, I'm knocking. I called the AD. It's like, my son will not be playing here next year just from watching this practice. It's just to get him ready for the next level, disciplinary reasons, stuff like that. Just get some discipline and stuff like that. But I couldn't have him in that situation. That's what got me to coaching, and I wanted to be a coach and help kids. Helped over probably 30 kids get into Division I, college from the kids I coached, no matter at lower level, middle level, high level. And once I started doing that and showing these guys how to play basketball the right way and learning NBA stuff at this thing, they always come back to me and say, Coach Mike, you are right. And that's the best feeling in the world. I tell them I would never steer you in the wrong direction. And, the kids, every kid I coached to this day, I was rough on some of them, but they all love me. I treat them all like they were my son. It was all tough love. So I never treated anybody better than anybody else. And I show them tough love. And I think that's, they thank me. They love me for that.
One of the guys you used to coach plays for overtime now, right?
Yeah. I had him for 1 year because after that year I had left. I was only supposed to coach. I was only supposed to coach for the 3 years that my son was at the school. So when my son was a senior, my sister used to be married to Eddie House. And so my nephew was coming in. He was a freshman. So my son was a senior. He was a freshman. I was done coaching. And my mom was like, you have to coach him. So I ended up coaching 3 more years. He was there and was going to leave after he was done anyway. And so just to make sure they get taught the right thing, I got 2 more nephews coming up from my sister and Eddie they're going to be, they're hogs. And, they're 8th grade right now, about 6'4", dunking on people and stuff too. So they're up next.
Okay.
Like a whole little squad in the family. And wait, let's not only talk about that. Yeah, so many people, and there's people in other professional sports in your family, correct?
Yeah. We got my cousin played professional football for like 9 years. My other cousin played on the USA soccer team for years and overseas soccer. I think that's all the pros we got in the family. All from my mom's side. So my mom's sisters, those are my mom's sisters' sons.
Wow. The athlete.
And your dad only had judo, right?
Yeah. I got other brothers, but no one. My other brother used to play baseball. Ended up hurting his elbow. So other than that, it's just me.
All right, Mike. What is your funniest NBA moment?
Funniest NBA moment. Everything was fun to me. I just had fun. Mike, you played with me in the Big Three. That's, I like to have fun. I joke around a lot. It takes a lot to get me pissed off. I don't get mad a lot, but I just always have fun. It's not, I can't really pinpoint anything that was the funniest. I can't pinpoint
anything in a game, or because I already know you call Bobby Jackson. You call him Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, but he calls me. What's the guy's name from Vin Diesel? He called me Vin Diesel. So we got a long saying joke for that. But I'm trying to think. Funniest moment ever is probably I came in the locker room and Vlade was smoking a cigarette at halftime. That's probably the funniest one of the things I remember. We're in Dallas and I came around the corner. I'm like, damn, like smoking in here? I see him standing out the stall, like his neck like out the stall like that much. I said, damn, Vlade. You can't say nothing to Vlade. Vlade's in his how many seasons he had. You can't say nothing to a vet like that.
That's that overseas. That's that overseas stuff, yo.
Yes.
Yeah,
he was definitely doing that.
Yeah, you said hear stories about that at halftime. That's true, huh?
Yeah, he was smoking.
That's awesome.
And then come out and still give you like 10 more assists, like 10 more rebounds.
I mean, he just had the easiest game. And he was good though. Like
he was.
Even though he was older when we were playing, he could still get to the basket and score and do stuff what he had to do.
Yeah. And I got to see Young Body when I was younger though, because that's where he came. He came out here in LA. So I got to see that.
He was tough. He was even tougher when he was younger.
It's just messed up that like you couldn't get to see the potential fully just because of what happened to Magic after that. Because it was like they already kind of made the finals. So it's like, you probably got a couple more years with Magic to make something happen. And he didn't get to see it. And then he gets traded for Kobe. Yeah,
that's crazy, ain't it? You never know, like the trades and the drafts, you never know what's going to happen, man, until those guys get out there and play. You always see these redrafts and this and that, but no, the draft went the way it's supposed to go. It just the guys didn't pan out how they were supposed to.
Yeah.
All right. The final question to end off the episode, as we do each and every episode. What would you say the biggest lesson you learned is throughout your entire journey?
Don't take anything for granted. You know what I mean? Your career goes fast. Enjoy it, embrace it. Be nice to people. You know what I mean? There's been times I've been an asshole, there's different times you go out to eat with your families, don't want to be bothered, you're eating and, ask for a picture of something in the middle of your bite and stuff. I mean, just like back then, and, I was kind of an asshole sometimes, but, I always take that time. I mean, there's a difference when you're eating and walking around, but just take the time for the fans. You never know what would happen. So, just take the time for the fans, embrace it.
That's going to do it for episode 11 of the Underdogs Podcast. Special shout out, Mike Bibby. Thank you so much for coming on and, teaching us about your journey and everything you went through.
Thanks for having me.
Next week.
I'll see y'all soon, man.